Welcome back, everybody. It's Mike Malbrough once again for Wallet Reset. Today we're going to talk about WordPress, right? Blogging on WordPress if you're a beginner. All right, so this is going to be just a talking head video because I want you to understand WordPress before you actually get to see what WordPress is. Excuse me. All right, so WordPress is essentially, for all of you guys who don't know what WordPress is, WordPress is a free open source software for making websites, right? Now this is different from the free website software that's hosted online, which is WordPress.com. That's not what I'm talking about. Even though they look similar, you can't really use WordPress.com for what we're trying to do, which is to build a business that we control and short-term and long-term. All right. Now, WordPress, the one I'm talking about, is very, very good for multiple reasons, which I'll get into later. All right. Using WordPress if you're a beginner, right? A lot of times people feel like, oh, why do I have to use WordPress? Why don't I just use Wix or Weebly or something like that? Again, it all boils down to control. You don't own your website when you have a Weebly or a Wix or something like that. And you can pay for the domain, but you are not getting the hosting, you're not getting the actual ownership of the site. Because if you do something that breaks their terms of service, then you don't own the site anymore. Well, you own the domain, you can always move it somewhere else, but that just leads you back to WordPress. So anyway, for what I teach and what I use, I only use WordPress simply because WordPress gives you the most control through the use of their themes and through the use of their plugins. You can basically make everything the way you want it to be, the way you want it to look, however you want it to turn out. You are in 100% control. All right, so why should you use WordPress? Well, I kind of already hinted at it, but you get control, long-term and short-term control of your entire website. Not only do you own the domain name as you would if you just paid Wix or Weebly, but you actually own the hosting of the site, meaning you control when it's up and when it's not up. All you have to do is pay your hosting fee. Hosting is also much cheaper, but owning a domain, owning a website is much cheaper simply by hosting it yourself and buying the domain yourself. It does add a couple of steps where you have to link the site, and some people get way too afraid of that because they think it's more technical than it actually is. It really is just, you click a button, or really you copy and paste some information over on your domain, you click a button, WordPress comes up. That's pretty much it. You don't have to do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. It literally takes about 5-10 minutes to do max if you have to buy the domain and the hosting. All right, so now, what should you do with your WordPress site? Well, first and foremost, if you're starting a blog, WordPress allows you to download SEO software plugins, I'll call it, SEO plugins, that will allow you to set your site up in a way that helps you to rank better in search engines. Not only that, WordPress, you can actually use, I forgot what it's called, I think it's Elementor, which is something I use to configure my website's home pages, sometimes any page, right? Elementor basically lets you control building the site, and it makes it almost like one of those free services like I talked about with Weebly and Wix. You can essentially just say, okay, I want this bar to be this size, I want this to be that size, and it makes it how it looks. So there's no real way for you to get it confused as long as you have Elementor up there. Honestly, WordPress is just a more user-friendly experience if you are willing to set up the site, right? So, how should you be blogging as a beginner with WordPress? Well, first and foremost, you have to set up your blog, but you're also going to need a couple of other things, right? So, after you have your SEO plugin, one that I use is Yoast, right? Yoast is a good one. Also, all-in-one SEO I use from time to time. They just help you so that you're not super confused. It helps you to know what you are putting on your URLs. You know what you're putting for your title and your description, so that when it shows on search engines, the people who see it on the search engines are going to see it the way you intend it to be seen. And it also helps you with linking up your pages in a way that just basically helps you boost up the link flow, right? The flow of the site whenever there's a visitor. And it helps Google also know a little bit more about what kind of content you're putting out. From there, basically you just have to make sure that you're putting out content that your audience is going to love, that other people are searching for. And that's really the key. You don't want to just make content that you like to talk about. You want to make sure that, yes, I'm putting out content that I want to talk about, but then I have to make sure that people are actually searching for something along the lines of what I just wrote about, right? And you can do that beforehand or after. I typically do it before because it helps you to brainstorm, and it kind of makes you have like an outline ahead of time, so that you know that you're talking about everything and you're not missing anything that your audience might want to know. And finally, blogging with WordPress. Another great thing about it is that you can do so much more when it comes to RSS feeds. Most of you guys don't know what to do with RSS feeds, but RSS feeds are still today a great thing to use. If you don't know what an RSS feed is, it's just a really simple syndication, right? It makes it so that other people can see your content, and you can actually set it up to where you're emailing out once a week all of the content that you post on your site every day. So there's a lot of different workarounds. There's a lot of things that you can do with simple plugins, right? And all you have to do is know what you're trying to do, find a plugin that does it, and then either pay for it if it's a paid plugin, or just download it from the free WordPress depository, and you're good to go. So WordPress is very, very simple. WordPress is the best, in my opinion, for beginners, because it gives you control throughout. And the cool thing is, once you own a WordPress site, let's say 3-4 years go down the line and you're like, you know what, I really want to dedicate more time to some other aspect of your life, you can actually take your site and sell it, and it will be easier to sell simply because you bought a WordPress, you put together a WordPress blog from the beginning. All right, so anyway, that's it. Hopefully I haven't skipped anything. Hopefully you guys understand everything I'm saying. Some ways down the road, I plan on actually doing a tutorial of how to set up your first blog, how to create that first blog. Right now, I just want to make sure that everybody gets the concepts that I'm going to be diving into later. This is going to be a long-term channel. There's going to be a lot of content coming out in the future. So as of right now, I just want to put out kind of like that textbook knowledge, that theory knowledge, so that when it's time for me to actually show you guys how to put all this into action, you have something to go back to. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Give me a thumbs up if you learned something, or if you felt like this was helpful in any way. And I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video, where we're going to talk a little bit about hosting and what's a good host for your WordPress blog. See you next time. Peace.